Have you ever traveled through time? We do it every day.
Asgardia is a country with a population of more than 1 million people from more than 200 countries on Earth. Asgardia gives everyone equal opportunities, no matter what their earthly status is.
It is possible to create and live in the future right now. Are you ready? Forward progress is the solution to the entire human race. Our mission is to bridge new horizons. In Asgardia, there is no limit to the universal development in the fields of technology, finance, and arts. Asgardia is a new space and digital economy which creates opportunities for the global economy. We deliver innovations. Do you want to get on board with us? We are developing various kinds of digital businesses, attracting them to the Asgardia platform that can be backed by the means of our umbrella, i.e. franchising of the Asgardia brand. We can not only attract investments into space programs from prominent institutional investors, but also affordable amounts from the citizens of Asgardia. We comprise of more than 1 million people.
Asgardia is a chance to realize one's dream. This is a dream-driven space nation. Asgardia is a chance to belong to a community of free-thinking enthusiasts, goal-driven dreamers, and fearless innovators, theorists, and scientists.
We are the first space nation. One humanity, one unity.
Asgardia.
We are creating
the future.
At least with hydrogen-powered car, the exhaust is water.
Yeah, I know. But I'm looking for a solid batteries, so it will prolong the.
Yeah, the solid states.
Solid state batteries.
Yeah, there's a couple of companies working on that.
Yeah, I believe Toyota is one of those.
Mm-hmm. And there's another company. They're not an automaker, but they deal with that kind of stuff. And they're trying to develop a solid state battery.
So we'll see. But so far, I'm happy with those. So whatever I have, 350 miles, it's more than enough for daily drive. And even when I'm going to LA, it's still enough. I just charge once and that's it.
That's good. Now my vehicle, it gets about 800 kilometers to the tank. So I can't complain.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Lembedobic here. I'm the chair of the Parliament of Asgardia, the world's first space nation and the first fully functioning digital democracy. Glad you could join us. Thank you very much. And what you're observing, if you're watching for the first time, is the operation of the Parliament in an informal way, which means that we're not taking votes, but we are working things out towards trying to achieve the two goals of our society. The first one is to have the first permanent space habitation, people living in space, not as visitors, but as residents of space. And the second goal is the first child born in space, because we have to do that if we're going to populate space. Sooner or later, that has to happen. And there are lots of biological and moral challenges with that, so we have to make sure we get that right. But those are the two things. And these meetings can be anything from 15 minutes to 55 minutes or an hour even sometimes, but I think today's will be fairly short, but we'll see. As usual, I will summarize it's three things today, and they're all quite short. And then I'll ask John to summarize the chairs meeting, if that's okay, because then he can also talk a bit about the LMRG, and he'll explain what that is too. And I'll open it to the floor. So first of all, three things. We've got our next digital sitting on the 8th to the 10th of May. I'm putting the agenda for that together tomorrow, and big thanks to John for being willing to help with that. That's really big. That's really, really useful. And I have to say that is making life a lot more effective, because John and other people who are helping with the LMRG, Legislative Merit Review Group, make the whole process more sophisticated and more efficient. And that's really appreciated. So that's 8th to 10th of May. Secondly, a big issue is working out what the Antarctica bill, or the Asgardia Antarctica Territory Act is. This has been a huge project, and there was a lot of discussion about this earlier, and we haven't got to where we need to be yet, I don't think, in terms of making it work. And that's because there are various legal and practical problems with defining what territory and what a nation is. There are just legal challenges, really, and it's all based on something called the Montevideo Convention. And there are four factors in that. One of them is to have territory, physical territory on land, on Earth. And that's what we need to have. We've thought about many creative and some quite exotic solutions, but we haven't settled on one yet. Head of Nation, Dr. Asher Bailey, the founder of Asgardia, wants us to make claim to Antarctica, and the logic he has is simple. Asgardia did not exist when the Antarctica Treaty was signed, and therefore we're not subject to it. It doesn't affect us. That's caused a lot of debate in Asgardia and outside it as well. So I'm really interested in seeing if we can find a solution to this. We also need to be recognised by the United Nations. So we're not able to do something which the United Nations would reject. That's the point that was made in the previous meeting. So we have an impasse. I'm suggesting that we actually have some kind of proper summit. A lot of meetings have taken place already, but I need to get back to the head of nation on this. It's a really big deal. And we need to be voting on something, first principle, core principles, at the next digital sitting. One possibility is that we just put in the preamble, the core principles, and some idea of the articles. That may not be enough, though. We may need to do something else. There are strong views, and some of those may be expressed tonight. And that's you're welcome to do that. What we have to do is find some way forward. So that's the biggest single issue facing us right now, or facing me at least. Third thing is ALF, the Asgardia Legislative Forum. We always have one of those before. We always have one of those before we have a digital sitting. I'm looking at the calendar. I'm suggesting that maybe the 18th of April would be a good day, Saturday the 18th of April. And that's 2 weeks before the next digital sitting of Parliament. That's what I'm suggesting. And that would be from 1 o'clock till 5 latest, but it might be shorter than that, of course. And then we'll have the chance to look at I'm going to put it in as 4 hours. We can look at all the legislation. What I have to do between today and tomorrow, and Linda has been very patient, our parliamentary coordinator, our head of parliamentary office, is I have to put the order of business and the agenda, running order and the agenda together. And I think I can do those with a little bit of work with John Pine. And then we just got to do something about the Antarctic Act. And it's a big deal, but we'll have to find a way to do that. And that really matters. So that is what we've got. And I really want us... I don't know exactly how we fix the Antarctica Act, but I know that collectively we will be able to make progress somehow. And that to me it's an interesting project, but it's also a very challenging one. So that's what I've got. John, do you want to summarize the other meeting, if you can?
Yes. Well, I mean, you pretty much summarized it in your intro.
Okay.
We definitely discussed the Antarctic Treaty and different aspects of it, or not Antarctic Treaty, but the what we need to establish there. Um, and there were several suggestions and observations made, and well, like Lambert says, we're still at an impasse. So um, I have a recommendation, which was what he kind of leaned towards there towards the end of at least putting a just a framework act in front of out and just something to open the door.
Yeah.
And that gives us time to have all these in-depth discussions because the parliament session is coming up soon, so it doesn't give us much time, and some of us are pretty swamped right now just trying to get our normal daily Asgardia duties done in order it'll be hard pressed to get all them done before the parliament session. So um, anyway, and there was a few little other discussions of some off topics that really wasn't uh, uh, that were specific to the people that were talking about them, and then we had uh, uh, I think that was about it. You wanted me to go over the LMRG. Of course, the
Yeah.
LMRG is a legislative merit review board, review group. It's a place where legislation gets a very thorough review. It gets reviewed against international standards. It gets reviewed against the international community. Gets viewed against the United Nations. It gets viewed against all of Asgardia's laws and their codes and the regulations. It gets reviewed over Asgardia's protocols and the way things are supposed to be done in Asgardia. And so we get a raw act in, and it goes through this review process, and it gets legal reviews it, um, and everybody puts their uh, review comments in there, and suggestions are made, and it gets developed, and what comes out at the end is a very coherent, very logical and proper piece of law. And it's an open platform that all ministers, chairs, sponsors, and all Asgardian leadership have access to. So they can go in and out of it anytime they want to. Uh, it's not mandatory that they do, but it allows them the freedom to go in whenever they want and do their whatever work they want to do at the time they want to do it. Of course, there is a deadline. There are deadlines like timelines that have to be followed, like the one coming up, which I'm about to send those invitations out that have specific times that everything needs to get done by, because out of respect for the chair of parliament, we need to have things done at a certain time so that he can do his part, and then and the documents be prepared for the parliament session. And so and that's the only reason why there are timelines as they are, and it's just like any other system. People that set timelines and they follow those timelines, and then the work gets done, and then you get a very thorough piece of legislation, and it has worked actually outstanding. It's the legislation. There used to be uh, bottlenecks that would hold legislation up. We would have 10 different versions flying around out there, and nobody knew what version was which. This way, there's only one version, and everybody works on the same version. And we do have a document that tracks a tracking page that tracks the legislation, the whole 9 yards, everything it goes through, everybody that contributes. That way, if anybody wants to see what was done, how it was done, on what day it was done, they can go to that tracking page and get that information. So, and it really streamlined the process, and it organized the act into a new process that I just created, where we have Apogee and Pathfinder packets, and it packages a complete set of documents into a package to be presented to all those who are doing the review. And it's uh, very efficient. And yeah, and I'm hope the chair of parliament says that he thinks it's outstanding. He loves it. It's
Yeah.
just saved him a world of good. It is the Act on Acts that gives us the authority to have the merit review group, and that is a position that the chair of parliament normally used to do. He would give it to merit reviews, but it was getting so uh, congested and complicated. He suggested he delegate that down to a working group, and so that's what happened. And they made me the chair or the manager of the working group, and I've been managing since it started. It was actually him and the prime minister, Lena Delena, that who recently resigned, that came up with the idea initially, and I helped them uh, bring it to fruition. And I thought it was a great idea, uh, something we had been needing for a long time. So, and it has really streamlined the process, and it works. It seems to work very well. That's all I have.
Thank you. That's very, very well put. So that's basically a brief summary of things. Let me open it to everybody else. You don't have to talk. We're in the middle of doing a lot of work, but I'm really keen on having a meeting with anybody who wants to, in order to try and get to the heart of the Antarctica Act, Territories Act. And there are some very controversial views. I summarized it before. Oh, sorry, not controversial, it's contrary views, different views. And we need to have a mature, frank conversation about what can be achieved and how it can be achieved. That's the whole point of having debate, to get to the right answer, not a particular answer, but to the best answer and the correct answer. So I'll leave it open to others if anyone would like to make a comment. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to see if I can fix up a meeting. I mean, we could even decide to do it. We could even decide now if we want to, when we would do it. But I need to just check a couple of things. I'm suggesting maybe on Saturday, for those who want to come, we have a meeting. The other possibility would be to have it as part of the LMRG, John, on Monday. What do you think? We'll come to Ariadne in a moment. What do you think, John?
Okay.
What do you mean? The LMRG? I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought, do we not have an LMRG? When's the next LMRG meeting?
Oh, I've not been having physical meetings,
Okay,
but
fine. All right, fine.
I'm sending out invitations this
Sure.
Friday, and then everybody just works at their leisure whenever they want to go in there and do their thing. But I've not had a LMRG. There was really no reason to have one, because it was just working well the way we already had it, where people would just go in and do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, go on.
you know, I mean, I can be at a meeting. I have a meeting, I think at 4 on the 1st. I think it's the 1st of April. Or
Okay.
I have one with Foreign Affairs here coming up.
Well, we
No,
could do that maybe.
maybe it's the 30th first. Yeah, and that's with Carl and Ferda, and we could join in on that one with everybody. Just bring them in on that one if Ferda's up for it. That's her meeting, so I can't talk
Yeah,
for her, but you can ask her that because that she's got a space reserved on Zoom for that meeting.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Ariadne then,
Yeah, I
Ricky.
think
Ariadne?
Yes, thank you very much. Well, firstly, I can find Teresa Jones in the Asgardia website. I don't know why. Please let me know, Teresa. Okay. And the other thing, well, Kenneth Edelin is asking about the important to create a collaboration or talking with the people from Chile about the Antarctic. And in my opinion, my personal opinion, I suggest to create collaboration with them. Maybe it's necessary, I don't know. But the Ministry of Foreign Affairs needs to make an opinion on that. It's, for us, it's only a suggestion, but him maybe has some more details about it. I don't know. Maybe Ferda wants to talk about this, and I don't know if it's more it's so hurry to create that or not to create
Yeah.
that opinion or argument. Okay, thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you, Ariadne. Good point. We'll go to Ricky next.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're going to have the meeting tomorrow, that's fine.
That's on. Yeah, I was thinking of Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Saturday. Here it's my Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just make sure send out the Zoom notice.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'll do that with Linda. I need to. What I'm going to do is two things. First of all, going to speak with John when he's free, and I think it'll probably be tomorrow now, about the agenda and the order of business. Get those done. I'll put drafts together tonight and send them to John. Then we'll put the actual legislative titles in. Once we've done all that, then we can put out an invitation to everybody who wants, everyone's welcome, just to have a single issue meeting on this. We need to get Peter Morn in there, and it would be nice if we can get Mark Beer or Salvos as a lawyer there as well. I'll see if he's available. He may not be.
You need the FA minister too.
Foreign minister, yeah, but we can ask if he's available too. Yes. Yeah. So, okay, action step there, Linda, is that we'll put that out an invitation once we've actually had the conversation. Myself and John have had the conversation. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, looking ahead. Quite a lot to do. 8th to the 10th of May, we've got our next digital sitting. Tomorrow, I'll do the agenda draft tonight, Linda, and send it to you, but tomorrow we'll tighten it up, because John will have seen it and will agree with what needs to go in. We'll have an Asgardia Legislative Forum on the 18th of April, 1 p.m. GMT. And thirdly, we will have a meeting in the next 48 hours about the Asgardia Antarctica Territory Act. And we have to make some progress. And if I have to deliver uncomfortable news to the head of nation, well, I'll have to do that. But we have to do something, because we have to have territory on Earth somewhere. I think the number one priority is to have territory on Earth. And I really would like to see that by the 12th of October, the 10th anniversary of Asgardia. Okay, Ariadne and then John.
All right, thank you, Teresa, for the information. Thank you very much. Yes, I need to know what you write there. That's all. Well, the other thing is about the sale and stamp for our registration and the copyright. I'm talking about with Uyghur, and I don't know when in this moment is complex because we are in the transition with the new prime minister. But I think the labor of the Ministry of Culture is more precisely to create that, not Uyghur, because he isn't a parliamentarian. And I don't know, what do you think about it? But I think it's very important to take a stamp with the registration as an Asgardians that we are collaborated with the child born in the space.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good point. John?
Yeah, I'm gonna say my dates confused. You say you want to have an ALF on the 18th of
18th
April?
18th of April, if that's a Saturday.
Okay, and so you said that was 2 weeks before the next Parliament session?
That's probably 3 because it's 8th of May.
When's the next Parliament
8th
session?
of May the 8th to the May the 10th.
8th through the 10th.
Yeah.
Of May. Okay, yeah, I had my information wrong. I had the ALF on the 8th of May, and then 2 weeks after that, the Parliament session. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll change that
Okay.
in my letter.
Okay.
Get those dates right. Okay.
Thank you. Anything else tonight? Okay. Thank you, everybody. We're in a year of heavy lifting. The Antarctica Act is a really difficult task. Probably the hardest thing we've ever worked on. And that's because many have tried to do this kind of thing, but few have succeeded. So we're trying to do something which isn't easy. And yet,
something for us as a pioneers. Yay!
Yeah. Well, once again, we're doing difficult pioneering work. You're quite right. Quite difficult pioneering work. But do it we must, because there's nobody else out there doing it. So that is kind of just a reality. And I fundamentally hope that we can do it. Not easy, but we have to do it. And it's a heavy burden. But when we get this resolved, then everything is set up for Asgardia to become recognised by United Nations. We have a plan on how that happens. And I hope that we can get this done by the 12th of October. John?
Well, since you all used the pioneer analogy, we want to do it in a way that we don't wind up like the pioneers of early West, where they were shot with arrows and had burning wagons and whatnot. Because if you do it wrong, that's exactly what will happen. So, using that analogy, we want to try to do it where we avoid all them obstacles that could definitely do us some harm.
Yeah, there's a huge point here, which is that we want United Nations to recognize us. We don't achieve that by provoking them. We need to work with them, not against them, because at the end of the day, they will make this call. If they don't like what we're doing, they'll simply say no, and that's that. So we have to do it the right way. And I don't know where we end up with this, but we have to end up at somewhere, basically. There's some very good news in terms of potential funding and investments, involvements as well, but we won't go into that today because it's at an early level. Once we get the agenda sorted out for the next sitting, which I have to do now, then let's put together a time. I'll have a look at the diary. I need to check something. We'll have a look at the time and have a meeting to try and make progress on this. And I'll speak to Peter Vaughan about that as well. Right, Ariadne.
Thank you, sir. Well, Room Space Journal has an article from mine. I invite you to comment about it if you can't. And Their Horizon has a new interview with you and John Fine, or John Fine and you, and that's amazing because we are talking about topics the conflict of the world. And well, I don't know if John wants to comment something about it. I think it's very interesting. I wonder to know his opinion here. Is possible?
John?
Okay, I caught some of that. What she?
Could you
What did
repeat
she
that?
say?
Ariadne, could you say it again, please?
Yeah, I didn't catch it all.
Well, I saw your third, the eighth episode of Third
Oh,
Horizon.
yeah.
Yes, please, talking about this, please.
Okay. Well, yes, we had the eighth episode, which is we're in the Third Horizon. The Third Horizon is a Asgardia podcast. Basically, it has a Asgardia overtone to it, but it is and it's being ran by an Asgardian business, and I am the host, and I am a Asgardian. So we're just all full of Asgardia there in that. But it is a philosophical uh, podcast, mostly philosophical and historical, uh, and it's all about where humanity is at, where they're going, and
Mm.
and searching the systems of humanity and how they're working in that within that framework. And so eight, we were looking at cohesion. What holds a civilization together when there's a crisis? And I brought in a guest speaker, which is Lambic Opic,
Mhm.
and he did an outstanding job. He had some outstanding insights. In fact, I'm just off of his insights alone, I'm actually in the process of building an entire episode off of some of the insights that he gave during this episode. And it's
Mhm.
going to be a deeper look into the things that he said. So,
Mhm.
Lambert, you didn't know that, but I
No,
am. I'm currently writing an episode. It'll be episode 12. I'm not sure if you're going to be a guest or not, but
whatever you
I'm
want.
not even sure I'll have a guest. But the it'll actually be off the. It's actually I'm building the episode off of the insights that you gave during episode 8. He did an outstanding job, and I'm really excited by that episode. And so, yeah, if you're listening and you haven't checked it out, you can find it on Spotify, YouTube, or Facebook, and just type in The Third Horizon, and it'll come up. And yeah, it's good. It's a great
Mhm.
podcast. We have our 8 episodes now, and I actually have more than that developed. It's just that's how many we've actually published. So I try to publish one once a week. Now, when I start going back to college, I might not get once a week, but I'm gonna still try
Mhm.
because I'm wearing a lot of hats right now. It's gonna be add another hat into that, like college, and that's probably gonna slow me down just a little bit in a few
Mhm.
other areas. So, just saying. But
That's
yeah,
very
thank
good.
you, Ariana. Thank you, Ariana. I really enjoyed saying something about that. And the star of the show was Lambert Opic. I mean, really.
Well, well, it might actually just say that. I'm not sure. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good episode, but I suppose I'll put it a different way. I've been in politics for 4 decades. I should know something. I
Exactly.
suppose that's nice. Yeah, it's great. I'd like to put that out on my own station, but I won't go into that now. Great. Anybody else? Excellent. Thank you. Slightly longer meeting than I expected. So we've got a few action steps, so I won't repeat again. They're in the recording. If you like what you see, then please do join Asgardia as a resident. It's €100 a year. And for that, you get the opportunity to fully participate in the civic life of Asgardia. You can stand for Parliament. You can run businesses. You can promote yourself to other ad hoc positions in the whole system. You can propose things. We're always open to good ideas. and you can help us achieve the two goals that we surely have to achieve as a species. The first child born in space, the first permanent human space habitation. NASA intends to launch its rocket to the moon, with people on it, really soon. In fact, before we next meet. That is very exciting. And I hope they will be successful. It's a risky event, and it's a very risky endeavor, very risky. But the 4 astronauts who are going up, they know the risks. And probably they will go further than any human ever has from the Earth. Not by very much, maybe a few thousand miles further, a few thousand kilometers further, but they will go further. But it's the first return to the moon, although they are not landing for 54 years. I was honored to meet the last man to stand on the moon, Gene Cernan, who recently passed away. And I met the first man on the moon. Now that was, I'm not sure what's going on there. I met the first man on the moon also, Neil Armstrong. And so I think so. I think that's fair. There's camera.
As Ada, you got your share screen on. We're seeing everything.
Sorry, I done it. I dealt with it. Nothing bad. So I met the first and the last man to be on the moon.
Sorry.
No, it's funny. It was funny.
I think it was a man in the space.
It was no. There's no problem. It wasn't a problem. Nothing bad happened there. I'm glad to say. So, if the Artemis 2 flight goes well, I think Artemis 4 is meant to be the first landing. The Americans are now clearly in competition with China to get there first, but that's a healthy race, I think. And the Americans are talking about having a permanent moon base. That takes us all one step closer to one of Asgardia's ambitions. We aren't trying to get Chinese to be first, or Americans to be first, or Russians to be first. We are trying to get humans to live permanently, that they're in space, and that's the goal. So thank you, everybody. Ricky, sorry, 1 second.
We need to think the first humanity, not the locations on the planet.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's quite right. It doesn't matter where we came from; it's where we're going that matters. Ricky.
Yeah, you had mentioned this a while back, but shouldn't we be also looking at either getting people trained to be astronauts, civilian astronauts, because there's a couple of companies out there that do that, or maybe try and recruit some actual astronauts to be Asgardian residents?
We do have some. We do have some. Doran, who's our head of administration, he is a cosmonaut, and we've had some other people as well who have actually taken things to the International Space Station on our behalf. So you're quite right, and that's a really important thing. And I think we can do more with the space community. And Cheryl, of course, got our paraphernalia, got our national symbols on the moon. So we have actually got representative on the moon in electronic form. And some of us have paid to send our DNA to the moon. I'm just waiting for that to happen too. Yeah, same here. Okay, thanks everybody. Once again, if you do like what you see, please do join. It would be really great if you become a resident. The more residents we have, the more we can do. Just go to Asgardia Space Nation and you'll find a way to do it straight away. It'll take you 2 minutes and then you'll be part of Asgardia. Thank you once again to Rebecca, to everybody who's been here as well. Thanks to my team. I got to do a few other things, and then I'm going to work on the agenda for the next digital setting. I really appreciate all of you do, and let's work together, a nation united, as we reach for the stars. We can stop the recording. We got to 27.